So you just had to ask me if I'm enjoying my my studies at school, but I mean,
yes.
You also said that you had been watching me on YouTube since I was 18, and I don't think I started until I was 20 or almost 20.
Really? You look like you were 12 to me. So.
I probably still look like I'm 12.
I figured you were like 18. So, are you enjoying? I mean, do again what your major is. What is your major?
My program is called Philosophy, Cosmology, and Consciousness. So it's interdisciplinary.
Yeah, that's great. And John, what's yours?
I'm doing the bachelor's program.
John and Frank here, please.
What? I'm doing the bachelor's program.
You're doing a bachelor's in what?
It's the interdisciplinary studies program that they have at the California Institute of Mineral Studies. It's their only bachelor's program. I see it more as just like a stepping stone to the master's programs there, and I'm kind of torn between the psychological department and the philosophical department. They kind of have two strong legs.
It sounds neat.
So I think when I come to that bridge, I'll make that decision. I might go into the program that Matt's in right now, so we'll see.
That sounds very interesting.
It is.
So integral studies.
That is correct.
What is the core curriculum for integral studies?
Well, in my program, we're really building off a handful of thinkers. The whole school itself was basically founded by Sri Aurobindo, or he sent someone over who had been living at Pondicherry in India, named Chattery, who was the first president of the school. I think it started in the late or mid 50s. Alan Watts was actually on the faculty back then. So besides Sri Aurobindo, Teilhard de Chardin is really big. Alfred North Whitehead, John Gebser.
You pronounced it John Gebser. That's good.
Jean, yeah. And there's something that a field of studies of philosophy called integral studies. Ken Wilber is a big part of it. Rick Tarnas is one of our professors. I don't know if you're familiar with any of his books.
Yeah.
Brian
I
Swim.
don't know him personally, but I know his work.
Right. Brian Swim, the mathematical cosmologist, is also on the faculty.
Yeah, he's impressive.
So we study a wide range of topics. We try to bridge the gaps between science and philosophy and spirituality and psychology. So it's
and exactly how do you do that? Bridge the gaps. I mean.
Well, I think it's the reason that there are gaps in these fields is because the human psyche has been somewhat fragmented in the contemporary modern or postmodern age. So what we were trying to do is...
I was waiting for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I was killing time. I was actually reading Jean Gebser, and he's a great guy to kill time with. And I was reading about his view of consciousness, and it's really hard for me because the ever-present origin is right. I have it right here, and it's almost as if you are relearning how to think when you read this.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, and I mean, for example, I think because my study was at Oxford, and I did a lot of philosophy courses, and history of science and the philosophy of science. Oh, this is a great view of the bottom of your chair.
Sorry.
It's okay. I never, it's sort of like it's hard to get out of the paradigm of scientific materialism, and I'm not even sure it's a good idea to do that. Why do you think it's a good idea to get out of the paradigm of scientific materialism, if it is? And what would it offer to us as a species if we, in fact, did that?
Can I go for that?
You can start.
I'll start.
But I definitely want to answer it too.
Yeah.
It hasn't been on camera, by the way.
Well,
Can we,
I think you're going to have to...
spotlight a bit?
I think for... Can she hear us?
Yeah, she can hear us. She just wanted to see you.
Okay. Well, I think, from my perspective, Karen, getting away from that paradigm, that scientific materialist paradigm, which is very tempting, and not just tempting, it's reasonable and rational. I want to make that clear. So
that's where I've lived, so I'm interested in the fact that other people live other places. I'm just a tourist here.
Yeah. And I suppose the idea is if the most accurate depiction of reality is what you're aiming for, if you're a truth seeker, if you want to get the biggest picture complete, the most whole picture of reality, then you're going to need to include multiple modalities in scientific materialism. Reductionism, I'm going to pair two, is a type of modality or avenue amongst many that I think once you back up, you can kind of see this forest. And so scientific materialism would be one giant sequoia in this big forest of many trees. And I think once you back up enough and you see that, you can really see the whole forest. So that's the difference. Do you want to look at the whole forest? Or do you want to just look at this one tree and think that's the whole forest?
It's the tree I live in,
No, it's an excellent tree. I mean, I don't want to take out any trees, is what I'm saying, Karen. I don't want to take out and deforest any of the trees. I want to have them all.
You free hugging hippie.
Whatever. Go ahead.
So I am a little.
It's not loggers.
See, I think scientific. Well, first of all, I love science, and I do not think that science is the same thing as materialism. Materialism is a metaphysics, which implies a certain cosmology. But here's the issue with scientific materialism, and it's a vague and general term. Maybe we can bring up some specific theorists, like I'll pick on Daniel Dennett.
Okay.
We'll get to Dennett actually. Let me just say generally about materialism. When you try to articulate a coherent cosmology, beginning with all of the ontological and epistemological assumptions that are built into materialism, you end up having to understand the human being as alienated from the universe, as some random...
See, I disagree. I think you see the human being as on a quest within materialism to stay in naturalism and to stay in materialism, and not to get beyond that, because we don't know enough yet to get beyond that. I mean, for example, I'm interested in boundary conditions. I'm interested in where other dimensions come into our dimension, if they do. But there are certain, I mean, people take too many liberties by thinking that they can escape without the work.
Escape without the work.
What does that mean? It seems that's in
It means this: we live in the dimensions we live in. We live in the perceptual dimensions that we have. We are evolved through millions of years to live where we live perceptually. And it would be great, I think it would be great if we could escape this, but you have to do the work to escape. You can't just escape by saying you're Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Well,
here's the thing.
You guys be Peter Pan.
Scientific materialism doesn't provide you with the practice to work on yourself as a perceptual, conscious human being.
Yeah. Well, there is that. Now, it's like one of the things that I have a problem with material, and I'm interviewing you guys, okay? So I'm not going to do all the talking, but is first person